You are listening to Claret Blue, an Aston Villa podcast brought to you by Birmingham Live.
Hello, welcome back to the Claret Blue podcast. My name is Dan Rowanson. We've got something very different this afternoon for you. I'm joined by Alex Bennett, our special guest for today's show. Before I ask you how you are, Alex, eagle-eyed viewers will notice that I'm holding my microphone and I'm sat next to a massive tripod, which we'll explain in a second why we're doing it like this. Alex, how are you? How's things?
I'm very good, thank you very much.
You're the creator, illustrator, designer, whatever you want to call it, of the Aston Villa Mishmash. I've got the print in front of me here on the desk. I've got a camera up here looking down at it so we can kind of talk through bits and pieces. I didn't quite realise how big it was going to be. So I've had to clear all of my desk. There's nothing on it except the prints, and I can't have my mic stand on my keyboard or anything. So I've got it here in front of me.
Yeah.
It's massive, it's brilliant, it's colourful, it's creative. And we'll go through the Villa specific one in a second. First of all, I just wanted you to talk to us a little bit about the idea and the process and when it first started, like the first one. How did that come about?
I came up with the idea of my first Mishmash in 2013. I've been a freelance illustrator pretty much since leaving school. I'd always had an obsession with the Where's Wally books. You know, I absolutely love them. And obviously, you know, I'm like probably half the country. I'm obsessed with football. I just had an idea of putting those two passions together. I mean, the first one I did was Football Mishmash, which is it's everything, all football combined. So it's all the World Cups, you know, like the Cantona kick, things that people, you know, remember, that everyone will remember, not just a specific club.
When did you first realise you could do one for a club, and who was that first club?
Yeah, well, what happened is I wasn't as frequent on Twitter as I am now. Hayley McQueen from Sky Sports. Mm-hmm. She's a family friend of my wife, and she posted it. And as a result, someone from Soccer AM saw it. So it went on to Soccer AM and actually spoke about it for 2.5 minutes. It was insane, really, because, I mean, the amount you'd have to pay for that kind of publicity would be ridiculous. From there on, I quickly realised that this is a thing. And off the back of that, I got a couple of commissions from clubs. Yeah, so I've done 20 in total now. Okay. I try and do 2 a year, but this year I'm trying to do 3, but we'll see what happens.
Well, I read on the website, which we'll link below for anyone who wants to go and buy this. I thoroughly recommend it, by the way. It's a great gift for a Villa fan particularly. But there are other clubs on the website as well. I saw in the description, I think it said it took you almost 1,000 hours. Is that right?
Yeah, roughly. I mean, it's not like clocking on and off like a factory job or anything, but it's when you get about halfway through, it does turn in. I mean, it's a love-hate thing with me. I mean, I absolutely love it when I start one. I hate it in the middle, and then I love it at the end. It just takes up a lot of time. I'm often up till, I'm a bit of a night owl, so I'll go to bed like 3 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, up at 7, end up having a kip after taking the kids to school, and then I just go again. I think it's February of doing this one that I said to myself, if I'm gonna put it on pre-order, I've got to give a date. So I said the start of April. Unfortunately, I've pretty much stuck to that.
How this came about, this podcast, is that you sporadically posted updates of the project as you went, and there's a certain point when you can see the pitch because there's only 10 players on it or whatever. Now it's absolutely crammed full of little details. Contacted you at some point and said, when you're finished, let's do a podcast because it looks great, let's talk about it, let's share it. But when you post those updates, does that kind of almost give you accountability to go, well, I've said I'm doing it now, like I've said I'm halfway there, I've now got to finish it by a certain date because people are expecting it?
Of course, yeah. I mean, now on Twitter you can see the viewing figures of each tweet, which is just, and I think halfway through this I did one Villa update and something like 96,000 people saw it, which was just absolutely blew me away, really. I'm getting emails as well because it's just me. I just cannot keep up. So I apologise now to anyone that I didn't get back to at the time. But I mean, I'm making a note of every single incident that they suggest, or the flags and banners is a big one.
We'll get onto the specifics of the Villa one in a sec. I just want you to talk me through the process a little bit. First of all, where are you? It looks like some kind of very creative, colourful studio.
That's why took a while setting up. So this is I'm a southerner. I've moved up to North Yorkshire now. House prices and all that. The house had a double garage at the front. One of the reasons coming is I needed a studio. I needed somewhere to store all my work. So I'll just spin it round. This is where all the prints come from. that yellow container there that contains all my prints, and then packaging them up in here. So it basically it's a good thing because it keeps all my stuff out the house. As you can imagine, it can get a bit hairy when it's busy.
So 1,000 hours, lots of input from supporters. What's that like when people are saying, put my flag in, do this, do that? Is that almost a bit overwhelming, or are you grateful that people are interested enough to say, here's 500 suggestions, and you just go away and make them?
No, grateful. I have a few people apologise and going, oh, sorry, can you put this in? Or can you put something in that I've already put in? They just can't see it because obviously it's a small image, and that happens pretty much every hour. But no, it's all appreciated. And as I say, people think they're bugging me. They're not. They're really not. I mean, it's at least they're talking to me. The worst thing is to be doing one of these and then I'm getting no feedback. You're thinking, what am I doing with my life?
So, like I said many times, I've got this in front of me. I'm hoping this camera above me is still running okay because I can cut away to different bits and pieces. My favourite thing about this so far, I've had it at my house here for a couple of days now. I feel like every time I come back and have a quick look at it, I spot something that I've not even seen before yet. There's obviously so much going on. Like you said, there's some bits that are so small, you kind of go, oh my God, there's so-and-so. Oh, that's great. What a lovely kind of touch that is. Almost to the point that the bottom half of the picture is obviously the pitch and the goal and loads of Aston Villa players scoring goals or celebrating.
Yeah.
It's almost like I've not even took that bit in yet. Like, crop that part out. I'm only interested in the flags and the fans and the trophies and the bits in the top half that you kind of go, oh my God, there's Paul Merson celebrating his goal against Arsenal or whatever it might be. But like the bottom half is footballing moments, pretty much. Not that I'm not bothered about it, because I am, but I'm more interested in the little bits at the top. Is that kind of a familiar theme with other people, that it's the little things and the flags and the fans and stuff that people care about?
I think what happens when you do ones for the clubs and obviously Aston Villa is the fans are the football almost becomes immaterial. It's more about it sounds proper cliche and a bit soppy, but it is about the fans and the people. It's the characters that that are in the crowd. Like, I had so many suggestions for, I forget his name now. Is it Badgerman or someone?
Yeah. Tony Penn, is it?
That's it. Yeah. And I obviously didn't know about him, but you read up and you learn he passed away, and I find things in the local newspapers, and you go, well, that's brilliant. And then you're trying to find a decent photo to draw from. But they're the things that, as I say, make the club and make it unique and special.
You mentioned that, and I know that's in there because I think I've seen it on social media, and I know around the edges you've got kind of like goals, silverware and awards, managers, where you've got like what's in the picture is written around the edges. But I know he's in there, but I don't know where he is.
Bang in the middle, the back of the old stand you got.
It's so difficult because it's so packed of stuff.
Just above the right hand side of the goalpost.
Yes, got him. Yes.
Yeah,
next to Peter with, it must be the iconic commentary. Yeah, got him. So many little moments that you do look at it and double take, and there's certain bits in there, or you've spotted it, but you come back to it and go, oh, I know I've seen so and so somewhere, but I can't find them now because it's so full of stuff. Mick Dale at the very front would have been a huge suggestion, I think, on social media. Somebody that fans look at as like, he is the club almost, kind of an infamous tour guide. He's front and center. He's right at the front going, welcome to Villa Park at the bottom. That's great. I love that.
I learned how important he is to everyone. And I thought it's just the pose I could get in. I mean, there was a pose in your local paper again, and his arms behind his back with that suit on. And I thought, well, if he's just got his arm up and he's sort of introducing the picture, and I thought that's his job, isn't it?
So I do a lot of like graphic design work and Photoshop and things like that. Do you do an individual player on their own and then add them in, or do you do like the whole image and kind of work out where they're going to go?
So what I do, I'm quite old school in the fact that I still use pencil and pen. Once I've penciled everything, I'll just, so you've got Grealish with his fingers in his ears, Tommy Johnson v Wimbledon, Adoma's handstand, Schmeichel's goal, loads and loads of these, Prince William, Petrov, Forrest Gump. Christ. What am I doing with my life, eh? This is where the artistic license comes in with things like people are saying, do Prince William with John Carew. And I thought, I'd known about that, obviously, and I'd seen footage and seen photos, and it wasn't interesting enough, if you know what I mean. So by doing Prince William dressed as a royal with his arms outstretched like a football fan, it's more recognisable, I think, as him. Because I'm not going to lie, the faces I do on the players, they're not, they're not spot on, are they? I mean, they've all got,
a lot of them have got a great likeness.
All the noses are the same,
Yeah.
purely because it's a time thing. If I spent too much time on the features, I just wouldn't finish it.
It's almost like a cartoony kind of caricature, though, isn't it? You know
Yeah.
who they're supposed to be. They're not supposed to be kind of like photorealistic, and that adds to the overall kind of art style, I guess.
I hope so, yeah. You can be my agent then. That sounds good.
Have you got a favourite part on here? A favourite image, or one that either means something to you or to a certain supporter? An image that you liked physically drawing because it was a nice celebration or whatever. Have you got a favourite part?
Yeah, there's a few. I mean, I loved drawing Gary Cahill's acrobatic goal. The way his body looked as he's taking the shot is just ridiculous. It took me ages I've got a little mannequin that I use to work out, the angles and stuff. And I spent ages trying to get the Gary Cahill one right so I could use that. That was enjoyable. Doug Ellis's bicycle kick.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. I don't know whether this camera up here will see it from here, but I'll put a photo in afterwards. Yeah, the story of that, first of all, you kind of look at it and go, that's Doug Ellis's car, the AV1 at the bottom. And then you go, oh my God, that's Doug Ellis on top of it doing the bicycle kick. I told you, Peter. I invented the bicycle kick. I love that. That's great.
See, there's no way fans in general would really know about that, would they? They wouldn't. Yeah. They wouldn't get it. They go, why is Doug Ellis doing a bicycle kick?
He spoke about it enough. I imagine you didn't find a photo online of him doing that to copy it off. You had to use a bit of artistic license there, didn't you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Funnily enough, there wasn't one.
Like I said to you at the start, as you look through it and kind of sit down and appreciate it, you spot things that you've not seen before, like Jed Steer and Mason Holgate on the left-hand side, kind of the infamous stare at each other in the playoff semi-final. One that I like, again, just so random. The right-hand side, just above the flags, like the bottom of the stand, if you like. The Liverpool fan taking a photo of Gabby when he fell over the advertising board in like 2008 or whatever it was. Say cheese, Gabby. Such a random moment that doesn't really mean anything, but you kind of scan through it and go, oh, there's that guy. That's funny.
Yeah. I try and find out the people that, like that guy. I tried to find his name out. Could not do it. I used Liverpool hashtag and went, who's this guy? And he, it turns out he's probably Gabby from Ireland, isn't he? Or he just won't use Twitter or his friends won't. So it doesn't really matter. But it would be nice to put it on the checklist.
Because there'll be loads of bits in this, even in the footballers where I kind of don't recognise a player or a goal. Certainly in the fans. Is there any kind of stories in the fan base part that you'd like to raise? Like there's a guy just above Brian Little next to Alan Hutton on the left-hand side, a dad, I assume, with a child on his shoulders holding a photo of the Mishmash. Is that
completely made up? Completely made up.
Okay.
You've chosen the one thing that means nothing.
Some really nice touches as well. Dalian Atkinson in the sky, in the clouds, in the top left-hand corner. David Bradley kind of sitting on top of the stand as well. I think it was his birthday recently. Loads of little nice touches like that. Some of the match, again, going back to the player stuff at the bottom, like it's not all just about goals. You got John McGinn stood in there in his turkey outfit in Christmas one year. That's great. As you kind of looking for all these great goals, and then John McGinn's there in a turkey costume. You've got the Dion Dublin Robbie Savage headbutt in the bottom right next to Mick Dale as well. Again,
do you know,
kind of like an iconic bit of Villa history. I
put that in quite early. I think that's when a lot of the fans got on board. When they saw Robbie Savage getting headbutted, they went, "This will do for me." I mean, I had a few things that people went, "You probably shouldn't put that in." I had a lot of issues with the Santa parachute. Obviously, I haven't put it in the end. I mean, it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because it is history of the club and it's a significant moment. But drawing it in cartoon form, I think people assume you're making light of, something that was quite horrific. But I found the guy on Facebook and I messaged him, and we just decided it's probably for the best if we just do him on the pitch a few months later when he was there with his, rehabilitation, just like thanking Villa Park for the support. Villa have been on an unbelievable run, haven't they, the last few weeks?
Yeah.
And that's been an absolute dream for me, because each week I'm going, I can't wait for them to score today. Please, would someone just hit a 30-yarder, please?
Yeah, just looking through, you got Petrov's from the halfway line right at the bottom against Derby, Matty Lawson against Stoke, John McGinn against Sheffield Wednesday.
Yeah, the Petrov one's tricky because obviously it's a long-range goal, and I haven't got that much give on the pitch. So I have to do him shooting towards the camera, if you know what I mean. Yeah, he's kicking it into another mishmash.
If you do a Derby County one, put Petrov's gold kind of sailing over through it, so it goes through to both of them. Yeah, it's great. We could sit here for another half an hour going through each individual image. Like we said, there's probably 500 little moments throughout the whole thing. There'll be loads of references that I don't even understand due to different ages to people who, somebody from the 80s might go, oh, there's so and so scoring whatever goal or that celebration. So, hopefully this video has shared enough of the print to kind of urge people to go and buy it, to be honest. Because like I said, it'll be a great kind of a present. It's a shame we're not near Christmas. It would be a great Christmas present. I think it's 25 quid. The last thing I wanted to talk about, because like I said, we could spend ages going through different things, is the Claret Blue logo. The little story behind this, I guess, is that once we knew we were going to do a podcast about it, and you said you would send me a print, I didn't want to be that guy, that kind of self-indulgent guy to come to you and go, put our logo in there. I want our logo in there, right in the middle, do something for us. So I said, privately, it'd be nice if our logo was in there, but don't do it for everyone. Just if it's possible, the one that you send to me, can our logo be in there as like a one-off kind of special edition almost? And you messaged me back saying, look harder, or words to that effect. And I was like, oh, okay. So me and my missus had it in front of us on my phone, zooming in as far as we could, all around it, and I couldn't see it anywhere. And I saw it there, and that was a nice kind of moment for me to go, oh, our logo's in there, without me even asking for it, because I didn't want to be that kind of, like I said, making it all about me. You make me one specifically. It was in there, and that was a nice touch. And then you messaged me again and said there'll be something else in there, but you won't see it till you get it. And I was like, oh, that's intriguing. I wonder what that'll be.
Yeah.
Unlike the Where's Wally, I'm not even looking for Wally. I'm looking for something in there. And I was like, oh God, there's so much going on. I've got to scour it. So again, I'm looking at it for ages. And then we look near the Claret Blue logo again, thinking, oh, maybe it'll be near there because that's an easy way to find what we're looking for. And next to it, in the little blue banner underneath Holt and the 12th man, which hopefully will be seen up above here, says, for Wilfred Leighton Rowlandson, 280123, for those that don't know, is my newborn son, which is a lovely, lovely, classy touch to put that in there. And I thought, oh, that's really nice to put that in there. And I messaged you back saying, oh, what a classy touch that is, thinking that was just on mine. And I scrolled through your Twitter page and saw somebody else holding a picture of it, and it was written on there as well. And it suddenly hit me that that's on every one of them. But that's a really nice thing to do. So I just want to say thank you for that, because that's lovely.
It's an absolute pleasure. I mean, this is the good thing about doing this. Like you can do personal touches such as that, and people won't notice. It doesn't impact on the image at all, really, does it?
I mean, I knew there was something in there, and I was scouring it like a hawk, looking for something, and it still took me ages to find it. So there'll be people that have already had one of these and got it in their house now, and might go and look at it and see that and go, oh, Christ, yeah, I didn't spot that the first time, because you wouldn't. So kind of, in a way, I thought, oh, that's a shame for everyone else that I've got a dedication in it and no one else will. So I just thought this was like a personalised one for me.
I mean, there's similar things like, do you have any pictures of kids walking to the game? So the backs are turned, so I'm not seeing their faces. They're walking to the game, because there's it always looks good when you're seeing kids walking into the image. Yeah, and so I had 6 or 7 responses to that, and a few mums and dads took photos, and I've got like at the bottom here next to Tammy Abraham, next to Doug Ellis's car, there's Max and Jack. They didn't actually have personalised shirts, but the dad said, this is their names, this is their ages, put that on. So I did. And then there's a kid it's like a 3-month-old sat on the roof.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Is there a story on that? That's just a fan's kid as well?
Again, yeah, it's his name.
Lovely.
That's it. His name's Casper, because I changed the kazoo logo, and I've changed it to Casper. So similar story to yours, really. So don't feel that special.
Yeah, that's fine. Just loads of lovely touches all the way through. It's not just about the football bits at the bottom, like I said at the start. It's all the other bits around the edge that kind of make it what it is. Yeah,
I hope so. I hope I've done the club justice. It's always a fear of mine that I don't put. It almost deserves the effort, if you know what I mean. If I didn't get any responses, then it wouldn't be half the image it is. I mean, it really is it's again cliche, but it's a team effort to create something like this.
Like I said at the start, we've been recording this on Facebook Live, and there's been a few comments drop in as we go saying, where can I buy one of these? I might go and order one. I imagine for the YouTube version that's had all the visuals kind of strewn in throughout this episode as well, there'll be people in the comments that want to know, right, where do I go and get one? Alex, you're kind of 30 seconds, 60 seconds. How do you sell it? Where do you get it? How much is it? Answer all those questions for us.
Okay, so I've got a website which is roundheadillustration.com. Twitter, I'm at Footy Mishmash. Same with Instagram. I also have an Etsy store. It's like my backup. And that, again, just type in Aston Villa Mishmash anywhere. And I think it would be fairly straightforward, where you can get it from.
We will put a link in the description for anyone who wants to go and buy it. It's 25 quid, isn't it? That's right.
Yeah, 25 quid. You can give me more if you want. That'd be really nice.
Well, hopefully there's a lot of interested Villa fans in this. And I hope we've done in this podcast, in terms of the visuals and stuff, we've done it justice as well, because like I said a couple of times, there's so much in here. Honestly, we could be here all day looking for stuff, and it's nice to kind of talk with you through it as I'm looking at it and kind of go through kind of the process as well. So thank you very much for watching this episode, and thanks Alex for joining me. Like I said, there will be a link in the description down below in YouTube, iTunes, wherever you're listening to or watching this. Link in the description, go and buy it. Trust me, you will not be disappointed. Alex, thanks again for joining me. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again very, very soon.
Thank you for listening to Claret Blue and Aston Villa podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, then please do let us know. We love hearing your thoughts and comments. We'll be back soon with another episode, but until then, up the Villa.